Kareen, Hugh Davis, 2 Aplauto, Tony Webber, 4 Bishop's Bow, Steve Knight, 5 Bright Dream, Andrew Tennell, 6 Brown Chamberlain, John Frankham, 7 Borough Hill Lad, Colin Brown, 8 Connor Valley, Peter Scudamore, 11 Drum Condra, Steve Smith Eccles, 12 Drum Largan, Tommy Round, 13 Falloon, Bill Smith, Blinkard, 14 Fenian Gold, Niall Madden, 16 Kudos, David Dutton, 18 Relton Nona, John Joe O'Neill, 19 Rich D, Wrigley Lamb, and 22 Was I Right, Mr. Ted Walsh.
So can Rich D fulfil the promise that he's shown in 5 out of his 6 races this season? Impressive wins of those 5 have been, notably his success in the Reynoldstown Chase at Ascot last month. And Rich D leads round into the straight. He's got a lead of 3 or 4 lengths. The 2 market leaders. Rich D, the Northern Challenger, beaten only once over fences. Pursued by Drumlargan, the Irish Challenger, the winner at Cheltenham 2 seasons ago. And these 2 are clear and they look to have it between them. Over that, Rich D is over. Drumlargan jumps it card in 2nd place. Star Member's over in 3rd, and then a long gap back to Drum Condra. And the only other one on his feet is Bishop's Bow, as Rich D comes down to the last with a lead of 3 lengths, and Rich D and Colin Hawkins look to have only to jump this to win. He's over. Rich D is over from Drumlargan in 2nd place. A long gap back to Star Member, and on the run in, it's Rich D holding on from Drumlargan. Drumlargan fighting all the way on the run in, but Rich D is going to win it for the North. Rich D is the winner. Drumlargan is 2nd. Rich D there by 3 lengths from Drumlargan, who was receiving £4. But today there's still quiet confidence behind the Irish Challenger. This is him working this morning on the right-hand side, ridden on the course this morning by jockey Tommy Ryan. And upsides of him on the left is Mr. Donovan, who was the winner of the first race today. Drumlargan won the Sun Alliance Hurdle over this course 2 seasons ago. Peter O'Sullivan asked his trainer, Eddie O'Grady, how he assessed Drumlargan.
He was one of these funny horses who I ended up at the very end of January. He'd only had 1 run over fences. He'd an obvious chance at Cheltenham, and we were in an awkward position. Would we run him in a few little races and win them, or would we run him in some better races where he probably wouldn't win, but he would get a lot more experience? Yeah. And we decided we'd take the latter course of action. He didn't win. He managed to be 2nd in 3 of them. I think we've done our homework. It's just up to him from here on to do. He seems
to have been making a few mistakes. Have you ironed out those problems?
I think there were mistakes probably that you could expect, for the simple reason that he was a baby put in rather the deep end. Yeah. But as I did it strictly because time was against me.
Could you see him beating Rich D?
Well, certainly I wouldn't have him here if I didn't think he was capable, but on the other hand, I have one hell of a respect for Rich D. Yeah. He's a very good horse.
And this is Drumlargan in the paddock here, ridden by Tommy Ryan, and in the eyes of Richard Pepper.
Yes, and doesn't he look well? The sun's out, and it's certainly doing these horses a lot of good. They love racing in the sun. Drumlargan, well, there's no doubt about his ability. He's a very good horse indeed. He has already beaten Rich D. That was up at Wetherby, and on that occasion it was a harum-scarum race. Raymack and Rich D went like stink, and I'm afraid that they paid the penalty in the end. Raymack fell, Rich D ran himself out, and Drumlargan came on to win. But win he did. Now, when he went to Ascot, he was fairly beaten by Rich D, soundly beaten, but he did clout a few fences, and this is the trouble with Drumlargan, horsed by Twilight Alley. He does certainly belt an odd horse, an odd fence, sorry, and whether you can get away with it here at Cheltenham remains to be seen. He's a winner here at the festival meeting, and he's got everything going for him today. Rich D 7-4 favourite, Drumlargan 9-2, Brown Chamberlain 5-1, 8-1 bar. Now, Rich D going out there. What a beautiful little horse this is. He's put together absolutely brilliantly. This is how horses ought to be made. He looks small, really, and I've always thought of him as a small horse, but he's not. It's just that he's so beautifully proportioned that it gives the illusion that he's small. Ridden by Ridley Lamb today. Ridley, who's a top-class jockey, rides for Arthur Stevenson, and has got this ride because his regular pilot, Colin Hawkins, is sidelined. I'm afraid it's one of the sadder sides of racing, but injuries are always present with our riders. And Colin, well, our hearts go out with you today, but I'm sure you want to see your old pal win. Ridley Lamb on board Rich D. He's done nothing wrong this season. He stays, he jumps, he's got better and better, and he's Neville Crump's only runner at the meeting. And when I asked him at Sedgefield a week ago why he only had one runner, he said it's no good going down there unless you're going to win. So, very confident trainer, Neville Crump, and so he should be. That's 19, Rich D. Most of the runners coming out now. Bishop's Bow leading them, that's number 4. Followed by Bright Dream, number 5. And then Brown Chamberlain, number 6, the third one out there. And Brown Chamberlain unbeaten, apart from his first run of the season when things didn't go quite right. He was pulled up, but he's had 4 wins in a row. Ridden by John Frankham, who's looking for his first winner of this festival meeting. And John, very serious at the moment, but it's a serious business. They're smiling. He's seen a friend there, wave to someone in the background. Well, this horse, we don't know if he actually stays. Today will tell us. He's always been cruising in his races. He's a superb horse, and I must correct myself. I did say he was bred by Bobby McAlpine. In fact, he wasn't. He was purchased from his breeder and ended up at Bobby McAlpine's stud. Brown Chamberlain, an amazing horse. He didn't quite produce the foot that I expected him to when he was finally let down to race at Chepstow, beating Bright Dream by a couple of lengths. But Bob Turnell has a high opinion of Bright Dream, and that form was good. So most of the runners making their way out now onto the course itself. They're being led there by Apple Alto from Bishop's Bow, and as they go onto the course, we have some betting for you.
Rich D 7-4, Drumlagan 9-2, Brown Chamberlain 5-1, Bright Dream is 8-1, Rialton Nona opened at 8, is now 10-1. Aplauto and Fenian Gold 14-1, Was I Right 16-1, 20-1 bar 8.
Bright Dream. Now, this horse has been running consistently well all season. He's only had 1 win, but that was in the heavy over 2.5 miles at Lingfield, and it can get very heavy there. This is a particularly favourite horse of mine. He's by Lucifer out of Dream of Escort, who was by Escart, and I think this is going to make up into a very good horse. He was second to Wayward Lad at Haydock and only beaten 4 lengths. That was last time out. Previous to that, he was second to Brown Chamberlain, and third time out ago, he was third to Combs Ditch and Royal Pioneer at Cheltenham. Decent horses, and this one will win a good race, mark my words, and it could be today. 13 is Forloon, who had 2 totally different results from his 2 runs over fences. First time out over fences, he fell very, very heavily at Ascot, and last time he ran, he was a brave winner. That was at Newbury on March the 5th, and the second horse on that occasion was I Right, who meets him again today. Forloon won by 3 lengths on that occasion. I think Was I Right will improve a bit from his run, and they could be fairly close together. But this is a decent horse again. It's a very good race, and Forloon, who's number 13 on the card, bred by W. Willis in Ireland. Blinkered just to keep his mind on the job. So that is the view people get from the grandstand as the runners make their way past the members' lawn. Grass getting browner there as the days go on. I don't know what it'll look like tomorrow if we have any rain. But the bigger crowd as we pan up towards the bookmakers, and that gives you some indication. Although the main grandstand that looks empty, the people will be betting, and in their boxes they'll be coming out to sit in that for the race itself. But a lot of people here today on the middle day of the festival. There is Aplauto in the half colours with the red hat, number 2. Aplauto, another nice horse. Now, he came up against Rich D and finished second to him, but prior to that, he'd won at Lingfield. Rich D is 2-1 favourite. It's from 7-4, 9-2 bar. But Aplauto, the horse we're looking at now there with the half colours, lovely horse this. It's certainly full of good horses, this race. He's by Alto Volante. He's 16s from 14s. Well, he wasn't very far behind Rich D, and I think 16s is pretty generous. This horse likes soft ground. In fact, he's won in heavy. He stays all of this trip, the 3 miles, and I think 16, if you're looking for an each-way wager, well, you could do a lot worse than have a bid on this one. Number 1 is Acarine. Twice in the last 2 runs, this one has ended up on the floor, and both times he looked like winning. Huel Davis takes the mount today. Huel, very good jockey, rides with a nice length of leg. This one trained by Peter Harris for his wife Carol. They've got a good string of horses at home this season. They haven't actually clicked, but they've been running extremely well, and Acarine is again one of their most useful. Prior to falling twice, this one was second to Classified at Newbury, and Classified ran very well here yesterday. Runners making their way down towards the 3-mile start. A very rich race this. Brown Chamberlain 9-2 from 5s, hard going out. 11-2, sorry, my mistake. He's going out half a point there from 5-1. But the Sun Alliance worth £21,119. Brown Chamberlain leading Acarine there, and Bishop's Bow, the third of those 3 there, is one we haven't seen, number 4. And this one, the second of Bob Turnell's runners, ridden by Steve Knight. Bob, who's had 18 winners so far this season, and Steve with 14. He's trotting out beautifully there with the white colours and the chevron on. Well, Bishop's Bow did win earlier on, in fact won twice at Kempton and Wincanton, but has been put in his place by Rich D, and I see no reason why he should reverse the placings with him today. In fact, it's a mare, this one. Bishop's Bow is 50s, and although that's quite a large price, this one has been well beaten by Rich D. Going up to inspect the first fence, and you can probably pick up the sound as they were cantering to the first. It is quite sloppy out there. I went to see the horses work this morning, and although it was wet, they were going through it quite well on the galloping grounds. So these are novices, and novices tire pretty quickly in heavy ground. Number 11 there is Drumcondra. Drumcondra from the Nicholson stable. He's 2 in this, Kona Valley and Drumcondra. And this one, after unseating his rider 2 runs ago, came out to win at Haydock Park. So if he can jump round Haydock, he ought to jump round here. He did, in actual fact, fall at Ascot in Rich D's race, but Drumcondra won very nicely. He responded to strong driving to go on and win by a neck. Drumcondra, 33-1, his latest price. There, Drumlargan facing us, and Borough Hill Lad just out to the left. There is a Plauto. Drumcondra, all horses we've already seen. Falloon, number 13. Number 7 there. Now this is an interesting horse. Number 7 is Borough Hill Lad. Borough Hill Lad, ridden by Colin Brown, who's on the 24 winner mark for Mrs. Jenny Pittman, who's had 6 successes so far. And this one unseated his rider last time out at Haydock Park in Drumcondra's race, was going particularly well at the time, and I wouldn't be surprised if this one finished in front of Drumcondra today. Stays extremely well and goes in this ground. 25-1 from 20s, so has gone out 5 points all of a sudden. But certainly, although hasn't got form up to the best of these, was a very useful hurdler and jumps fences well despite not completing last time. There's Rich D. So this, the 3-mile start. They go way down at the entrance to the straight there. They just jump 1 fence in front of the stands, and then they have 2 complete circuits after that. That's a nice fence there, beautifully made. A credit to George Exel, the fence builder here at Cheltenham. So 3 miles to go. Let's see if there's any money altering the market.
Rich D still 2-1, still favourite. Drumlargan 9-2. Brown Chamberlain is on 6-1, that's going out. Bright Dream 8-1, Rialton known at 10s, Was I Right 16s. Fenian Gold 20-1, a Plauto same price 20-1. A Borough Lad has gone to 25-1, Falloon 20s, Connor Valley 25-1, Drumcondra 33s, Acarine 40, Bishop's Bow is 50-1, and Kudos is 100-1.
So one of the most interesting races at the card here. It's for potential Gold Cup runners or winners of the future. It's a good race for it, and I think that we're certainly going to be in for some excitement. That is Kudos. Now Kudos loves to bowl along in front, but he's a little bit hairy. I shouldn't think that too many jockeys want to ride him. Falloon is 16s from 20s, but Kudos, the horse with the brown and white hoops there, well, he's fallen a couple of times and pulled up, but he's also won a couple of races in between. He was 3rd last time out and ridden by one of the best young jockeys in the north of England, David Dutton. This is certainly a lad who is making a name for himself, but whether he'll make a name for himself today or not, I'm not quite sure, because this one does tend to bowl along and miss the odd fence out. David Dutton just testing his leathers to see if they're the right stride. Number 8 there, that's Kona Valley standing still with the orange sleeves. Kona Valley, the other one of David Nicholson's runners, and this one's been very busy, winning 6 races this season, and that certainly paid his way. He's won £8,000 already. Just going through the picture there now, that's number 8, Kona Valley. Rich D is 2-1, Drumlargan 9-2, Brown Chamberlain 6-1, 8-1 bar, and in the white vest there, the ex-Irish horse there, Was I Right, who finished second last about the Falloon, owned by St. John O'Connell. But I think they'll shortly be getting ready for this race. A few of the jockeys pulling their goggles down, so we'll take the opportunity to join our race commentator, Peter O'Sullivan.
Thank you, Richard. And Rich D attempting to become the first successful favourite in the Sun Alliance Chase since this race was run under its present title. It's been run 7 times, and the nearest a favourite has achieved so far is second place. The white flag up there under starters' orders. The 15 runners. It was Fenian Gold who nearly took on the tape and is just gone for a little solo spin behind the others, going to hold him up for a moment or two. Fenian Gold, the other Irish challenger apart from Drumlargan. Brown Chamberlain out of point from 6-1 to 7-1. Here comes Fenian Gold to join the others, and they're away. And Rich D caught a little bit flat-footed there, in fact, but a long way to go, and he won't be disturbed by that. Connor Valley and Falloon and Kudos are the 3 to jump it first. They're all safely over it, though Akareen, who fell last time out, jumped it very, very deliberately in rear. They miss, of course, the ditch, which they would be taking now normally. And Kudos in the lead from Connor Valley on the inside of Falloon, and then comes Bishop's Bow, then Drumcondra and Fenian Gold, with Bright Dream on the inside, then Railton Nona, Barra Hill Lad, Rich D, Drumlargan, Plauto, Brown Chamberlain, Was I Right, and finally Akareen. Coming to the second, Kudos in the lead from Connor Valley, Falloon and Drumcondra. And the back marker, once again, very, very deliberate, Akareen. The water now, for the first time, it's number 11 on the next circuit. Kudos lands over it in the lead from Falloon on the far side. Connor Valley and Bishop's Bow as they come to the next. Kudos from Fenian Gold on the outside, Connor Valley, and then Bishop's Bow. Akareen very deliberate at that. Bright Dream, and then Falloon and Drumlargan as they jump the 5th. And all safely over the 5th, Akareen a long way in rear. And coming to the first of the ditches now. Kudos from Fenian Gold and Connor Valley and Bishop's Bow, then Falloon, and then a Plauto. Behind a Plauto is Drumcondra, then Rich D and Brown Chamberlain. Bright Dream, Was I Right? Running downhill, Kudos from Fenian Gold, Connor Valley and Bishop's Bow and Falloon. And one went at that ditch. I've just been trying to pick it up, but haven't seen it yet. Anyway, it's Kudos from Fenian Gold, and then Falloon, then Drumcondra, then a Plauto on the outside. Behind then comes Bishop's Bow, then comes Drumlargan, and Fenian Gold to follow there. Fenian Gold is gone, and Was I Right was hampered by that. And the lead being disputed by Kudos, Falloon, Drumcondra and a Plauto, then Bishop's Bow, then Drumlargan on the outside, Connor Valley on the inner, and then Rich D. Behind them come Railton and Owner and Brown Chamberlain and Bright Dream and Was I Right and Akareen, and that is the order. Kudos from a Plauto, Connor Valley, Falloon, Rich D, Railton Anona, Drum Condra, Drum Largan, Brown Chamberlain going well on the inside, Bishop's Bow, Bright Dream, Was I Right, and Acarine. Over the 9th, Kudos and a Plauto from Connor Valley and Rich D and Brown Chamberlain, Falloon and Drum Condra and Railton Anona and Drum Largan. Borough Hill Lad is riderless, so he must have been the fourer at the very first ditch. And as they go out into the country now for a complete circuit is Kudos from Connor Valley, Rich D the favourite on the inside, then a Plauto, Falloon towards the outer, Railton Anona next. Behind them come Drum Largan, Drum Condra, Bright Dream, Bishop's Bow, Was I Right, and Acarine. Acarine having made up a great deal of that forfeited ground in the early stages and jumping much more confident here now. Connor Valley going up on the inside of Kudos as they jump the 10th. Connor Valley from Kudos. Rich D a slight mistake there. Railton Anona fourth on the inside, and then Brown Chamberlain still going very well. Then Drum Largan. On the outside of Drum Largan is a Plauto, then Drum Condra, Was I Right, Bishop's Bow, Acarine and Bright Dream over the water, and finally Falloon. Connor Valley from Kudos, Railton Anona, Rich D going right up on the outside of Kudos now over the 12th, and Rich D jumped right up there with the leaders on the outside of Connor Valley. Railton Anona going well on the inside, just in behind Railton Anona. Kudos has lost a little bit of ground, and a Plauto and Brown Chamberlain and Drum Largan. And behind them come Bishop's Bow and Was I Right and Drum Condra and Bright Dream and Acarine and Falloon. Now they're coming to the final ditch in the Sun Alliance chase, and this is 4 from home, and it's Connor Valley in the lead from Rich D in second. Railton Anona is third, Bishop's Bow 4, and Drum Largan closing in 5th. And Rich D a bad mistake at that one and lost quite a bit of ground, and Bishop's Bow is now going on from Drum Largan and Connor Valley. Then comes Railton Anona. Behind Railton Anona is Rich D, and then Brown Chamberlain, and then Kudos, and then a Plauto and Bright Dream, and this is still a wide open chase as they run down now towards the third last, and it's Bishop's Bow in the lead from Drum Largan. Then just in behind them Connor Valley, then Rich D getting back into the picture with Railton Anona as they come down towards the third last now, and it's still a wide open race. Bright Dreams coming there on the outside. Drum Largan lands just in the lead at that one. It's Drum Largan bidding for an Eddie O'Grady double from Railton Anona in second. Drum Largan and Railton Anona. Rich D is under pressure. Bishop's Bow's fighting his way back in the picture, and the Plauto's coming there strongly on the outside. Kudos is not out of it over the second last. Drum Largan on the inside, just the leader from Railton Anona, and Rich D still coming back, and Brown Chamberlain and John Frankham coming there very strongly indeed, cruising on Brown Chamberlain. And it's Drum Largan and Brown Chamberlain now, Tommy Round and John Frankham. John Frankham, the champion, bidding for his first triumph of the meeting, going very easily on the far side on Brown Chamberlain. Drum Largan on the near side. Railton Anona still in contention at the final fence now. Drum Largan lands in the lead from Brown Chamberlain on the far side. Railton Anona comes next. There's Brown Chamberlain from Drum Largan as they race up the hill. Brown Chamberlain is sprinting, and he's going to go and win this very comfortably indeed. Brown Chamberlain sprints to the line to win it from Railton Anona, with Drum Largan just holding on to third place in a photo possibly. He may have just held third place from Drum Condra, then Kudos. Behind him came Rich D, and then Was I Right. Behind Was I Right was Bishop's Bow, then Acarine and Connor Valley, and pulled up was a Plauto. And so the result of the Sun Alliance chase, first number 6, Brown Chamberlain, owned by Mrs. Basil Samuel, trained by Fred Winter, ridden by John Frankham. Second was number 18, Railton Anona, owned by Mr. A.A. McCluskey, trained by Peter Easterby, ridden by John Joe O'Neill, and it is officially a photo for third place. A photo between the two drums, Drum Condra and Drum Largan and Drum Condra. But here, the winner, number 6, Brown Chamberlain, who's now won 5 in a row. He's become the 55th winner of the season for Fred Winter, and number 93 for the champion John Frankham, and of course his first triumph of the 1982 festival. Conjured a marvelous sprint out of this 7-year-old by that very good sire Space King. to win in really brilliant style. As I say, a photo for third place, but what an impressive winner this was, as Richard can confirm.
And Rich D had thrown away his chances with a bad mistake at the last ditch. He's still here on the left of the picture, but I don't think that he would have beaten Brown Chamberlain. If ever we've seen a potential Gold Cup horse, this is it. We didn't know if he'd get the trip today, but get the trip he certainly has, and sprinted. Drumlargen has run a tremendous race. Rialton Nona, the mare who gave John Joe his first winning mount back after such a long absence, in third place. But going to the last, John Frankham is absolutely running away. But just watch now how he corrects his horse. He sees he's on a wrong stride, he pulls him back for a short one, the horse responds and jumps beautifully. Drumlargen gets just a neck advantage from that jump, but John knew exactly what he had up his sleeve. Now look, he presses the go button, has a look over his right shoulder, and what a lovely feeling that is. He is sprinting when the others are standing still. There aren't many horses like this, and I should think Lieutenant Colonel Baird, who bred him, is a very proud man today, as are all his connections. Runs in the colours of Mrs. Basil Samuels, and John Frankham on the 93 winner mark, and what a handsome winner. You're going to see a lot more of that one. Rialton Nona is second, running a game race, and Drumlargen looks to have held on by a neck for third place.
Final.